brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Jade Warshaw, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today as we answer your questions about life and money. The phone number is 888-825-5225. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Thanks for joining us. Daniel is in Kansas City. Hey, Daniel, how are you?
I've been better, Dave. How are you?
Better than I deserve, sir. What's up in your world?
My wife is about to pass away, and she hid debt from me.
Oh, my.
That I didn't know that she had pre to our getting married 5 years ago.
Wow. I'm so sorry. So what is her illness?
She has cirrhosis of the liver, and it's not working, and she doesn't qualify for a transplant, and then it's starting to affect her other organs, and she's kind of going into full shutdown.
So you've been married 5 years?
Yes, sir.
I'm so sorry. How old is she?
She's 44.
Oh, my goodness.
Ooh. How old are you?
I'm 52.
Okay. Oh, man. Okay, and so you opened this with she's hidden debt from you during the 5 years that you were married. So she ran up debt in her name?
She ran up debt in her name pre to our getting married back when she was in college. This is the second marriage for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
I have one daughter with her, technically a stepdaughter, but I consider her my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. And was saving money for her to go to college. Mm-hmm. And I thought we were anyway, debt free except for our house.
Mm-hmm. So the debt was rung up before you guys got married. You just didn't know about it.
I did not know about it.
And how much debt?
Her parents said she ran up $50,000, but I've only received a bill for $15,000.
And it's on what kind of debt?
Student loan debt.
Oh.
Federally insured?
I don't know. I just received it the other day. It's actually from a bill collection agency.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have it in front of me. I apologize.
That's okay.
Is it only, and you might not know this, is it only in her name, or did her parents sign for it too?
No, it's only in her name.
Okay.
Her parents offered to pay for her to go to school as long as she showed them the grades. And evidently she took the money, was in school for a hot minute, and I didn't know this because she's hidden a bunch of stuff from me. Mm-hmm. And used the money to go travel.
Okay.
And went to Europe and blew the money.
All right. Well, let's talk through a couple of possibilities from a tactical standpoint. I'm sorry, Daniel. I know your heart's broken in about 3 different places. The deception, the loss, the illness, everything that's going on here that's just overwhelming. And all of that's just a tragedy. I'm so sorry. Student loan debt that is federally insured is forgiven when someone passes away.
Okay.
So if this is a federal student loan debt, there's no issue. When she passes away, you will, or her parents for that matter, can send them a copy of the death certificate, and the student loan just evaporates. Mm-hmm. It's that simple. And don't pay it. Okay, that's probably what we're dealing with. Okay? Let's go another route in case that's not it. Let's pretend this is private student loan debt, that she borrowed it from the university rather than through FAFSA and all that, right? And that is not. Did. I'm sorry?
I believe she did because her parents' income was too high for her to get FAFSA.
Well, this is student. It could still. There's not an income limit on getting a federally insured student loan.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry,
so
sir.
I'm thinking this is a federally insured student loan. If it's not, let's discuss that. So, do you own anything jointly with her? And both of your names on it.
The only thing with both our names on it is one car.
Okay.
Her credit from her previous marriage was, she's had 2 bankruptcies that she never told me about, because I had money issues in my first marriage and got that all paid off, and I got your book, The Total Money Makeover, and followed that to get out of debt and to do
there's
all
a
that.
mountain of deception here. Okay. All right, let's pretend that this is not federally insured. I would have you if it's not a federally insured student loan that is forgiven upon death, then I would have you contact an attorney there in Kansas City on probate law in Kansas. In most states, when someone passes away, what they own stands good for what they owe, and nothing else does. Just because you're married to her in most states does not mean you're liable for her debts that have her name on it. And so the car is hers, a portion of it, and if the car has any value above what is owed, that might be sold and paid towards this debt. But other than that, you don't have anything that is, she doesn't own anything, it doesn't sound like.
No, sir, she does not.
Okay, so let's pretend that she were single and she had a car and that was all, and she owed more on the car than it was worth, and you pass away with credit card debt and student loan debt. There's no assets to pay the debts. Those creditors get nothing when that person passes away with nothing. Your kids aren't responsible, your parents aren't responsible, and in most states, your husband is not responsible. Unless, especially in a situation like this where the debt occurred prior to the marriage.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm not an attorney in Kansas. I'm not an attorney, but I'm not an attorney in Kansas for sure. So I'd want you to check that out. You won't have to bother and do that if you can discover that these student loans are federally insured, and I'm giving you a high probability they are. If they're federally insured, it's no issue at all. You got no issue. You're not liable, period. No one's liable. No one pays anything. If someone becomes permanently disabled or passes away with a federally insured student loan, it's forgiven. It's gone.
Okay.
So you're okay, other than your broken heart.
Okay.
And your broken heart from losing your wife and to liver cirrhosis of the liver, and your broken heart from all the deception that's gone on.
Yeah.
And both are legitimate pain, brother. I'm sorry you're facing all this.
Yeah, he's got to get in counseling and deal with that, because he's got a lot going on. He's got the loss. But then it's tough to lose someone that you're angry at or frustrated at for something that's gone on, right?
Yeah.
And so I would
obviously
definitely...
she had a pattern of this in her life.
Yeah.
And now it's coming to a tragic conclusion.
So tough.
Wow. Ouch. Ouch. This is The Ramsey Show.
George, I went my whole life avoiding being on the internet. And now everything I do in my life, my professional life, my personal life, everything's on the internet. And so now identity theft protection means the world to me and my family.
And I'm the resident techie millennial here, so I've been on the internet since before it existed, and I've actually had my identity stolen before, but good news, we both have identity theft protection from Xandr. They monitor our personal info on hundreds of thousands of databases, and they alert us of any suspicious activity.
And that's everything from social security number activity to home title monitoring and more.
So the key is identity theft does happen, unfortunately, but if it happens, Xandr handles everything, up to $2 million in stolen funds protection and white glove service to restore your life back to normal.
I don't understand how the internets work. I don't understand what's going on in this little cybery world. And that's why I'm so grateful for Xander. They've got me and my family's back. They've got you and your family's back. And it gives me one less thing to worry about, one less thing to be anxious about, and it lets me be a dad that sleeps at night.
Yes, and all you got to do is go to Xander.com or call 800-356-4282 to protect your family with the most complete ID theft protection available. That's Xander.com.
Jade Warshaw, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Well, guys, Black Friday deals are here early. Whether you're shopping for yourself or you're looking for the perfect gift to help someone get their money in order, now's the time to shop and get hardcover books and assessments for just $12, audiobooks for just $8. Rachel Cruz's brand new book that came out yesterday, the third kids book in the series, I'm Glad When I Can Share. It's here in time for Christmas, $19.99. Whether you're shopping for your own kids or your nieces or nephews, you can gift the joy of giving this season. It's fun and relatable, and it helps kids discover why generosity matters, a lesson that will last a lifetime. Don't wait. Check out our early Black Friday deals today. Get gifts for everyone on your list at RamseySolutions.com/store. Or if you're on YouTube or podcast, you can click the link there in the all notes. Rachel's with us. Rachel is in Cleveland, Ohio. Hi, Rachel. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
I have a question, and it is, can I reasonably consider home ownership in my future at my salary point? It is, I make about $42,000 a year before taxes. I work full-time in ministry. I love what I do, and it's just, my question is, can I retire well someday and have home ownership as part of my future?
How old are you?
35.
Okay. All right, cool.
I think that it's possible. I think that right now you make $42,000, but I can't imagine that your salary will never go up. So I think that there's an opportunity there, but it is going to depend on the decisions you make today. So my first question would be, do you have debt? Tell me a little bit more about your snapshot here.
Okay, so I do have a little bit of debt. I have about $7,000. I'm working on paying it off. According to my figures, I'll probably be debt-free by June or July.
Okay.
I've paid off about $12,000 to date so far this year.
Good for
you.
you.
Very good. Okay, and so after that, you're just walking the baby steps through, which anybody can do. The speed in which this happens is going to be directly reflected by your salary. So I'm not going to say that it doesn't matter, and there's something to that. And then the other part of this is, okay, are we choosing an affordable place to live? You're in Cleveland, Ohio. I mean, what's it cost for you to buy something are you single?
I am single, yes. And I don't live quite in Cleveland. I live in a small town. I've seen quite a few houses recently for between $80,000 and $120,000.
Okay.
It would be kind of what I was looking at.
That's very doable on your income.
Yeah. And what I would do is we've got a really great home mortgage calculator. It's like, how much home can I afford? And so if I were in your shoes, I'd be trying to put real numbers to these question marks. And I'd say, okay, first things first, how long is it going to take me to pay off this $7,000? Then how long is it going to take me to save 3 to 6 months of expenses? Then, and a lot of those equations, if I were you, Rachel, I would reverse engineer them and say, okay, for 3 to 6 months of expenses, let's say I need $10,000. If I do the math on what I'm making now, it's going to take me X amount of time. And then you get to decide, is that time frame okay with me? Because if it's not okay with me, what do I need to do to make that go faster? And even though you're in ministry, I got to believe that you've got time on your hands to add to your income by doing a side hustle, right?
I do have a second job. I work about 12 to 14 hours a week in a second job.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. Hey, what is your ministry? What do you do?
I work in a children's ministry. We are basically a discipleship program for kids.
Good. Very good. That's about as worthy a thing as I can think a human can do. Way to go. Proud of you.
Thank you.
So here's the thing. The probability that 15 years from today, you're 50 years old, and you're doing this exact same thing, making this exact same income, is zero. There's no chance.
Sure.
Okay? You will either be making some more. You might still be there doing this, but you'll be making some more. But even the probability of that, just saying, okay, I'm going to be making $52,000 15 years from now doing the exact same thing, and I'm a 50-year-old single lady doing children's ministry at that point, that's fairly low. I mean, you're pretty much Mother Teresa if you're doing that. Okay? You just got the one thing and you stuck with it all the way through, right? And that's not a bad thing. Mother Teresa's obviously had a good gig, right? So, that's fine if you go that direction. But it's just not the normal path for a typical person in America. And so what oftentimes happens is that you find other ways to serve children, and you scale it, and your income goes up, and your expertise and your experience becomes more valuable in the marketplace. It might involve a move. It might involve some kind of life change in your situation. I don't know. But typically what happens is that people progress through their life, right? And so that includes their income, and sometimes it means some stair-stepping on their careers and those types of things. So I think that's really your future. I just don't know how to describe it exactly, but I think we can all agree the probability of you being 50 and making exactly the same money, doing exactly the same thing is very low.
Sure.
So,
and even if I do, there's a slight increase every year. I do know that much.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, even that's a slight increase. It's not 42. So the average household income is $78,000 in America. That's household, and that includes a whole lot of dinks. Double income, no kids. Okay? So that's calculated into that. So your income is slightly below the average today. And that's not a sin. There's nothing wrong with that. And that doesn't mean you can't do the stuff we just talked about. But you just kind of keep that. That's my deal. And then you're in ministry, and the stuff that we teach is biblical principles of finance, which is stay out of debt, save money, live on a written plan. Those are all from the Bible. Live on less than you make. Those are all from the Bible. And if you do that and start investing a portion of your income into a good Roth IRA, you could have a serious amount of money at retirement and not have a substantial change in income.
That's right.
If you stayed this track exact.
Yeah, you're just committing to a more modest lifestyle at the end of the day. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's your value that you get to choose.
Yeah, don't call me. You can't call me and say I was forced to buy a new car.
Right.
You can't call me and say I was so tired and fatigued from ministry that I took a year off and went to Europe. You can't call me and do that. That's not you don't have these options. You don't have the money to do that. So you're in a steady thing, and you're going to be a steady person but I like your $80,000, $100,000 house idea. It fits the numbers you're giving me. You're not being a princess in this, a negative princess in this discussion. So I don't hear that coming from you, but you don't have those options.
Yeah, you're driving a used Camry for the foreseeable future.
Exactly. And that's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. I think that those are the choices that we make when we decide, where our passions are going to take us in life career-wise. So
godliness with contentment is great gain. Rodney is in Atlanta, Georgia. Hi, Rodney. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hello, Mr. Dave. I'm in South Carolina.
Okay, that works too. How can I help?
Yes, sir. I just got a question, a couple of questions. I'm in pretty good shape financially. I have managed to save in cash and sitting at a bank $142,000.
Way to go! And
I have zero consumer debt. No loans, no, not anything. But my mortgage, I owe $165,000 on my mortgage, and which I'm gonna be able to. If I have another good 2025, I'll be able to pay that off next year. So my question is, do I put anything down on my house now? Because I've been thinking about just writing a check for $100,000 and putting it straight towards the principal and only owe the $65,000 on it, and then just pay it off about this time next year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. What's your interest rate on the mortgage?
3.7.
Okay, that's what you're making on that 100K when you do it. You're saving 3.7% on 100K.
Okay, about how much? Okay, 3.7% on 100,000. Okay.
Yeah, because you just paid. You're not going to be charged 3.7% on that 100,000 because you paid it off.
Just paid it off.
And I might pay more than that. I don't know what your emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses is, but that's all you need. Everything above that ought to be dumping towards that mortgage. We're on baby step 6 and wide open. Way to go, Rodney! This is the Ramsey Show. What does the future hold for business? Ask 9 experts and you'll get 10 different answers. Economic growth or a recession? Business taxes will go up or down. AI will help us work, or it will replace us all. But there's no such thing as a crystal ball. That's why more than 40,000 businesses have future-proofed themselves with NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud enterprise resource planning system. Ramsey Solutions uses NetSuite, and you should too. Whether your company's earning millions or even hundreds of millions, NetSuite helps you respond to immediate challenges and seize your biggest opportunities. With one unified business management suite, there's only one source of truth for the visibility and control you need to make quick decisions. NetSuite's real-time insights and forecasting help you see into the future with actionable data. And when you're closing the books in days, not weeks, you can spend less time looking backward and more time focusing on what's next. And speaking of what's next, download the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning at netsuite.com/Ramsey. It's free at netsuite.com/Ramsey. Jade Warshaw, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today. The Ramsey Show question of the day is brought to you by Why Refi. Why Refi refinances defaulted private student loans, which are different than federal student loans. Why Refi refinances your defaulted private student loan and builds a custom loan based on your ability to pay. So kick your private student loan out of your life by going to whyrefi.com/Ramsey. That's the letter Y, REFY.com/Ramsey. Might not be in all states.
All right. Today's question comes from Alex in Florida. He says, I'm 42, married with no kids, and my wife and I are retired. We clear almost $10,000 a month from our pensions. We own brand new vehicles that should last us 8 years or so. We own a waterfront home, but we are tired of the heat, hurricanes, and insurance prices. I bet you are. If we buy our dream home for $1 million in cash, we will have over $400,000 in the bank. We have no bills other than our normal expenses, so we save on average $7,000 a month. I never dreamed I would be contemplating paying $1 million cash for anything. I've been penny pinching and saving for so long that it feels weird to spend. Is this a stupid idea? Let's see. You're 42, married with no kids. You've got this pension. I would love to know what his current investing rate is, if he's continuing to invest any of this money. He doesn't mention any of that. He'd still have $400,000 in the bank. Let's just pretend that that's it. A lump sum is going to double every 7 years. So when he's 52, it'll be 800 and plus. So almost $1 million by that. I'd probably do it, Dave. Would you do it?
Absolutely. I'd pay cash for it.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to.
My only concern would have been...
You're sitting with the money to do it. What else are you going to do with it? Take out a mortgage and put the money in an investment? No.
Well, the only other option would be...
to invest it.
Well, other option would be to buy something less expensive in cash. In my mind, that would be the only other option.
I don't see a need to.
I don't either.
I think you buy it. Yeah, pay cash for it. No, you're not stupid. It is an emotional thing to... you've been sitting on money to let that money go. into a house, but it's not like you're spending it. If this goes sideways, what are you going to do? Sell the house for a profit later? I mean,
here's the thing. He's probably, most of that money probably wasn't just sitting in an account somewhere. I mean, he's selling the waterfront house to get it.
Apparently.
So that's exactly what you should do. You take the equity, maybe he adds a little cash to it, and purchase this house outright.
Yes, absolutely. And let's see here. We own a waterfront home. Doesn't say if it's paid for, but I'm with you. I'm guessing based on this, we're going to sell that, and that's some of the $1 million. But anyway, the answer to your question is yes. Pay cash, pay cash, pay cash, pay cash, pay cash. Now, and then take your $10,000 a month, and I'm with Jade. You ought to be investing some of it, and your $400,000 doesn't need to be in the bank.
That's a good point.
It needs to be in some good investments. So get with a SmartVestor Pro at RamseySolutions.com. Find someone that we're endorsing in your area that you get comfortable with, that has the heart of a teacher. Start learning about good investments. The bank is not on the list of good investments. John's in Boise, Idaho. Hey, John, what's up?
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
Sure. How can I help?
So my wife and I just paid off our house. And my first instinct was to go ahead and ramp up our retirement contributions and try to max those out as much as possible.
Absolutely.
But then I'm looking back at what we currently have in our retirement accounts, and we got about $623,000 sitting in traditional. And I'm wondering, based on our ages, we're 36 and 38, if it would make more sense, instead of maxing out new Roth contributions, if we should instead maybe try to focus on converting some of those additional or traditional retirement contributions to Roth.
You ought to do both. You ought to max them out and then start working on converting it to Roth. But I'm not gonna choose between the two. I'm gonna max out first, and then I'm going to get to the above that. I'm going to get to it. What's your income?
About $205 household income.
Okay, and you got no payments, and you live in Boise, Idaho, no house payment or anything. So you're not going to be able to do that $600,000 in one fell swoop anyway. You don't have the money.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, I mean, we also have some like home upgrades, and wife's vehicle needs to be upgraded.
Okay.
So I'm kind of looking at the extra money beyond maxing out retirement. A lot of that's going to go that direction.
That's fine, but that's not for everything. And once the home upgrade's done, the car upgrade's done, then you can start to peck away at it. And 5 years from today, you're going to be making more than $205. Agreed?
Agreed.
Yeah. So just, you're 30. So take a 7-year plan, and let's get that 600 moved by the time you're 40.
Right,
while maxing out, while upgrading the cars, while doing all of this other. You got room.
Right. And then the balance of that traditional at 623 now is going to continue to grow.
Yep.
So it's just going to be more taxes as time goes on.
Yep. But that doesn't change it. I'm still going to do, because here's the thing. You've got that under the umbrella. If you stop putting money under the umbrella in order to flip that out, I think that's a bad move. I want you to get it all over into Roth. All mine's over into Roth. I moved it all over. But I paid cash for it above and beyond maxing out everything, and above and beyond being completely debt-free, and above and beyond upgrading cars and fixing the house. And so, you're not going to be able to do it quickly unless your income doubles. But you will be able to do it over a 10-year period, 7-year period, whatever. I mean, you're not going to be 45 asking this question. I can tell you that mathematically.
Okay.
So you'll be fine. You're going to get there. And but yes, I think that is a good strategy to move traditional to a Roth.
At what point, okay, I'm trying to think through this. I'm thinking of a good question here. So if you're listening to the show and you say, oh man, Dave, I've contributed to a traditional 401k most of my working life. I've got a lot over there. At what point do you go, this is too much to move? Or what's a fair percentage to have in traditional versus Roth? Maybe that's the better question.
In game, I don't want you to have any in it.
Right. But if you've been doing that,
That's okay. I mean, but I wouldn't be continuing traditional. I'd move everything to Roth today, all on fresh contributions. And in game, I want you to move it all out into Roth over a period of time. And here's why. Let's fast forward this 33-year-old to 65.
Sure.
Okay. He's not going to cash all of this out suddenly at retirement anyway.
That's right.
And very likely this guy making $250,000 a year at 33 years old is going to have a bunch of other non-retirement investments, like Dave.
Right.
Okay. I got a bunch of non-retirement investments called real estate and other things, right? Mutual funds that aren't in a retirement plan. So the chances of me actually touching, I'm 64, of ever touching my retirement accounts, it's close to zero.
Yeah.
I will never touch them. So now what are we doing? Well, now we're looking at 72.5 RMDs, required minimum distributions.
Yeah.
I don't have those because it's Roth.
Yeah.
Inherited IRAs. They are taxable if they're traditional.
That's right.
If they're Roth, they're not.
Ding,
So
ding.
Rachel Cruz and her brother and sister will be getting someday all of our Roth products.
Yeah.
No taxes. And guess what? Let's say I live 25 years from today.
That's right.
64 to 90s, right? Put what's in there right now, all tax-free, all dropped into their name, tax-free. Talk about changing a family tree.
My mind is exploding.
The numbers are astra-freaking-nomical.
Oh, yeah, they are.
I mean, it's cray-cray how big those numbers are.
Ooh,
and that's where this kid's going.
Yeah.
Because he's going to have other investments by the time he gets there. And if he gets all of this into Roth, he's got the inheritance benefit, the no RMD benefit, because you're really probably not going to use that money to live on.
It's very good. This is the blueprint.
Yeah, I mean, because this guy's not looking at a $2 million net worth here.
Yeah.
This guy's looking at a $12 million net worth.
He's going to be very wealthy. Yeah.
Okay, if he stays on this track, because the numbers we're giving him with compound interest is magical, people. This is beautiful. Man, you are a bright guy. John, you got to run these numbers out. It'll blow your freaking mind. You've been gazelle intense, you've eaten more beans and rice than you knew existed, and now you're ready to make your biggest investment better. Blinds.com is a great way to dress up a room or your entire home. Whether you're comfortable with do-it-yourself projects or you don't even know what a Phillips head screwdriver is, well, trust Blinds.com to take care of you like Ramsey would. You can do the measuring and installation yourself, or you can let Blinds.com's professionals handle everything for you. Blinds.com offers a completely hassle-free experience. Count on them to deliver stylish window treatments from premium brands without the premium markup. You'll never have to deal with pushy salespeople in your home just to get a quote. But you can count on free shipping, free samples, and a 100% satisfaction guarantee so that you can rest easy. That's why we've recommended Blinds.com for over 10 years. Get 40% off site-wide for a limited time at Blinds.com. That's Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply. Jade Warshaw, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Stacy is in Spokane. Hi, Stacy. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Thank you very much for having me on.
Sure. What's up in your world?
So I would like to just get an idea of how to deal with our situation. My husband is up in age. He is actually 72, going on 73. He has been working all his life, and I am only 49. I have health issues that prevent me from being able to work a full-time regular job. And so currently what happened was recently, last year, we were living on a friend's property, taking care of the father, the the father of the son that lives there. And we were doing really well. My husband was working. We were doing just fine financially. Unfortunately, we didn't have a home there, and we were told that the owners of the property, which is multiple family members, were having a dispute. And so we were having to get out of that situation due to the circumstances. And when we saw what was happening after COVID and everybody losing their homes and losing rentals because people were selling their rentals like crazy, we also had pets, which was restricted us from getting into a rental. So we decided to go ahead and purchase a home, knowing that technically the economy wasn't great for doing that. My husband makes about, with Social Security included, because he gets his retirement Social Security as well as his income, that is about $90,000 a year. We purchased a home last October at the price of $423,000.
Good Lord.
And unfortunately, the interest rate was at 6%. I like 6.2. And so right now, currently, I still owe a school loan debt of about $20,000. I was hospitalized this last summer and now owe $10,000 for a one-night stay. And then also my daughter, there's no schools in our area that are safe for her to attend, unfortunately. And so we had to send her to a boarding school.
What does that mean when you say there's no what does that mean?
In Spokane, Washington, the schools are not safe to attend?
I was born in Spokane. Tell me what does that mean?
So actually, we are actually in northern Idaho, but like right next to Spokane. And so
in rural Idaho, the schools are not safe to attend.
Right.
I'm not buying that.
They've been pushing the whole gay thing,
Okay, safe is one thing. I don't agree with what they're pushing is another thing. That's a different
subject. That's very different.
Okay.
So
I don't have a problem with that. Okay, now, so
what's the question?
Why don't you sell the house?
Yeah.
You bought a house you can't afford.
Right.
Sell it.
Right. And then go with.
Well, move to something you can move to something you can afford.
Okay.
You bought a house you can't afford.
Yeah.
And to your point, you're in a rural area that's far less expensive than anything that'd be close to a city. So there should be options, right? There are options.
Actually, unfortunately, the areas out here are really it's gone up. Just from the 1 year
Stacey, there's not a situation. There's not a situation where there are no options except sit there and be bankrupt. Bull. Okay? You keep pulling the plug on everything seems to be forced upon you, and you don't have any choices. You don't have any choices. You got choices. You didn't have to send your kid to boarding school. You could have sold the house, moved to a school system you agreed with in a $200,000 house, and had no issues.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You weren't forced into any of this. But the language you use is as if you're a victim of your own choices. You're not a victim. Change it.
Yeah.
Sell the stupid house. It's a freaking house. It's a bad decision. And you bought it, and then you justified it as if there was no other choices. Of course there was other choices. There's always other choices. We have pets. Well, there's lots of choices with pets.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to bankrupt my family for pets. I love my dog. It's one of my favorite people. But I'm not going to bankrupt my family for my pet.
Yeah. I also want to challenge the fact, and she said she wasn't working. I know she said health issues, but I always filter at this point whenever we get calls where someone is struggling to work, whether it's because of a disability or health. I always tell this story. I bought 2 recliners on Wayfair. They didn't work, and I sent them back. And all of the customer service was done via text. And I realized there's somebody on the other end doing this whole thing on their computer at home via text. There are jobs out there that you don't have to have contact, that you can be on your own timeline. So I even want to challenge the fact that you're not working. I bet there's something that you can do. So there's a lot in this conversation that needs to be accounted for.
Yeah, we've got to get on top of this and in front of it rather than behind it. Everything's not chasing you, kid. You got to start chasing life instead of it chasing you. So sell the house, Move into a house half the price, get the kid back out of the boarding school, homeschool them. If you're not working, homeschool your kid. Mm-hmm. You can control the woke agenda that way. Yeah. And, there's a lot of options here. There's a lot of options. But you guys just keep reaching over and doing crap you can't afford, and then you're shocked that you're broke.
Yeah, and in this situation, you really need to have some foresight when you've got a 72-year-old husband and you're 50. You've got to start thinking through what the future holds and how you're preparing for that, because it's going to hit you like a ton of bricks.
Now, Sharon is slightly older than me, and she's planning for me to die first. So I'm not sure what that means exactly. I need to sleep with one eye open, possibly. All of our estate plan is predicated on me predeceasing her. I'm a little worried about this. Of course, she is in much better shape than me, but other than that, it's just, come on. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, you're right. And I'm not 20 years or whatever it is, 15 years older. So there you go. So, all right. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Connor is in Pensacola. Hi, Connor. What's up?
Hey, Dave. This is, how are you?
Better than I deserve, sir. How can we help?
So I made some bad financial decisions right when I turned 18. I thought credit meant I was rich. So I decided
Me too.
to go.
You're the only one, Connor.
Yeah. So I decided I was going to start my own lawn care company. It worked all out, but I ended up taking out a loan for a truck while I did that. I ended up selling the landscape company, not for much. I mean, it was $1,300. I ended up moving to Florida from Minnesota, and I'm just trying to figure out how to get out of this loan, as I have no reason for a truck anymore, and I owe about $31,000 on it.
Whoa!
It's worth about I owe about $31,000. It's worth about $26,000.
What do you make?
I've gone down. I make $2,400 a month.
What do you do?
I just got a job doing logistics sales.
For $30,000 a year?
It's $40,000, so it's really $2,800 a month. But I mean, there's potential for commission on after 26 weeks of trip. I'm 21 years old.
Oh, okay, and you're working 40 hours doing that?
I'm working about 50 hours a week, but I'm on a base salary of $40,000 a year. After 26 weeks of training, I'm eligible for uncapped commission, but there's really no guarantee that you'll make commission.
Well, it's how hard you work.
Yeah. All right. So you're 21. You're in a place where you just moved to. You don't know anybody. You need 6 more jobs. Take it to 80 hours a week. You need $5,000 to write a check and cover the difference so you can sell the truck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Yeah.
I want you to go get $5,000. Ready, set, go.
Mm-hmm. Then you're going to have to figure out a way to get something in cash that you can drive around.
And get you a $5,000 car. So we really need $10,000.
Yeah, that was kind of my plan, is to just kind of get rid of this loan and just buy a car cash.
You can do that.
You can do it, man. But you're going to be living on beans and rice, and you're going to increase your income. And there's no eating out. There's no happy hour.
Yeah, and I hope you got a
There's
roommate.
No weekend trips with the buds. You're a broke dude with a truck you can't afford. And the way to get out of that is go to bare bones and attack it with a vengeance.
Yeah, and get you a roommate.
Oh, there we go. Ding, ding. This is The Ramsey Show. Before we get to the next caller, I got some good news for you. Even when this portion of today's show runs out of time, there's still plenty more for you to tune into. Just head on over to the Ramsey Network app to finish today's show for free, right there on the home screen. And if you don't have the app, just search Ramsey Network in the App Store, Google Play Store, or click the link in the show notes for an easy download. You never know what call's coming up next. So finish today's episode in the Ramsey Network app today. brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Jade Warshaw, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. This is a Baby Steps Millionaires theme hour. We're going to talk to real millionaires and ask them how they did it. We started doing this theme hour several years ago because I kept hearing all the mythology in the marketplace, the lies that are out there about where wealth really comes from. People don't seem to know where wealth really comes from. So let me help you with this. A millionaire is $1 million or greater net worth. There is only one definition of a millionaire. It is a math process. It's not up to you to, it has nothing to do with your feelings. It doesn't care what your feelings are. Okay? What your assets are minus your liabilities is your net worth. What you own minus what you owe.
Yeah, not a salary.
That is your net worth. It has nothing to do with your income. And your net worth determines if you're a millionaire. When you have a $1 million or greater net worth, whatever you own minus whatever you owe. And there's no qualification on that. This is an accounting term. And just because you're on TikTok doesn't mean you get to change it. This is a definition. And so someone that makes $1 million might or might not be a millionaire. That is not the definition of a millionaire. When people say net worth millionaire, that's redundant. Because 100% of real millionaires are millionaires based on their net worth. You don't need to put an adjective in front of an adjective. It makes you look stupid. So it's just a millionaire. That's all it is. So we're going to talk to people that really have that net worth and ask them where they got it. And that's what we do here. The phone number is 888-825-5225. We're starting with Charlie and Stacy in Midland, Texas. What's you guys' net worth?
Dave, we think it's about 10.8.
Hey,
way to go, guys. Okay, give me a little breakdown by mix on that. How much of that is like investments or retirement, real estate, so on?
We both have an IRA, and they total about 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
Got two houses, 1.4, and then got 6.7 in investment account, high yield savings account, and land.
Way to go!
Wow.
Good for you. How old are you two?
61.
6'1" or 5'1"?
61.
61. Good. Okay. How much of this $10.8 million did you inherit?
Oh wow. About $250,000 3 years ago when my mom passed.
After you were already millionaires.
You bet, yeah.
Okay,
and
cool.
I haven't spent a dime of that inheritance.
Okay, and that obviously that's not what caused you to become a millionaire because you already were. Now, income.
No.
Your lowest income since you've been working, and your highest income since you've been working.
I think when I got out of vet school in 1990, I got one of the best jobs in my class, and I made $24,000 health insurance for my family and a car to drive. And
Stacy, you married a rich man.
24,000.
I love it. And what's Charles' best year of income?
Oh wow! Last couple of years, $500,000 or so.
Way to go!
So now you own a vet practice, obviously.
I sold it. I did.
Oh,
I fought the fight for 34 years. Yes.
Okay.
So what portion of the net worth came from that? What'd you bring from that sale?
Oh, that was a bunch of that was just realizing equity in the business, but then there was some goodwill on top of that. But you got to hear what Stacy, she taught when I was in vet school. She can tell you what she taught and coached 2 sports for when we were going to vet school.
Okay.
Yes, I taught elementary PE. I coached basketball and track. I also taught freshman high school physical education, and my starting pay was $15,400.
Way to go, guys. Way to go.
Teaching and two sports.
Way to go. Proud of y'all. So, what would you, do you think people could still do this today?
Oh, it's easier today than it was when we did it, Dave.
Why?
Way easier. There's so many more investment opportunities. We didn't have 529s for the kids. We didn't have college savings accounts. We didn't have health savings accounts. We didn't have 401ks like they do now. When you think back to the 90s, when I found out about you, when you're the only vet in a small town, you get to go out in the middle of the night. And in the mid-90s, you had the prime time on AM radio about 3 in the morning.
I did. In Midland, Odessa. I remember this.
That's right. Yes. And that's where I heard about you.
Wow.
So,
that's crazy.
It's so much easier, I think, today, because when you think in the 90s, I did not know what a no-load mutual fund was. If you were going to buy stocks, you had to buy a block 100 at a time or something like that. And now you can buy fractions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's got to be so much easier now than it was for us.
Yeah, the vehicles are a lot cleaner. You're right. And there was no Roth. Yeah. There was no Roth back then either.
No, there was not. No.
So, I agree with you. So what do you guys drive?
She drives a Subaru.
Yeah.
And I drive a 3/4-ton Aggie Maroon GMC pickup truck.
Aggie Maroon. That's a particular color they sell in Texas,
is it? Volunteers. I really am. Sorry about the ball.
So how important is budgeting? Were you guys budgeters? Does that play a part in building wealth?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Jade. We followed the envelope system, and I carried around envelopes, the white envelope, I penciled on each envelope, where that cash was going to go, whether it was going to the grocery store, gas, the kids' needs. And the envelopes played a huge part.
Wow.
Because it really gave a visual. I'm a visual person, and it showed how much money we had, and to use. Right. And when it was gone, it was gone. And starting off with the program, I was a little hesitant, but once we got started, boy, we stuck with it, and we just went crazy with it. We also made our kids listen to the show on our trips when we traveled.
Wow.
Yeah. First, Charlie stuck with me in the middle of the night, and then the kids are with the trip. Hey, I'm proud of you guys. That's amazing. $10.8 million net worth. That's where money comes from, boys and girls. I love it. Way to go, Charlie and Stacy. Hero. Both of you are heroes. This is The Ramsey Show.
Well, hey, you guys. So when you go against what society thinks is, quote, normal, like avoiding debt, for example, it might seem weird at first, and that is totally okay. Because we want you to be weird if that means you're doing things intentionally, including how you spend your healthcare dollars. And one way to be intentional is with Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM isn't health insurance. They're a health cost-sharing ministry that's helped hundreds of thousands of families like yours take care of healthcare costs without sacrificing their freedom. Programs start as low as $98 a month. So find out more and join at chministries.org/budget. That's chministries.org/budget.
If you believe a lie, an untruth, and you act on your beliefs, which everyone does act on their beliefs, it leads you astray. In other words, if you thought one direction was north and that was actually south, you acted on a lie. You acted on an untruth, and you get what's known as lost, right? You didn't, that way's Florida, that way's Maine.
Yeah.
And you can't head towards Maine and get to Florida. Well, you can. It's just the long way around, right? So you got to go all the way around the globe. But and the same thing's true with building wealth, and that's why we started doing this, because there's so many people out there lying, some of them intentionally and some of them just because they're ignoramuses, about where wealth actually comes from. Here's one. All wealthy people get their wealth by being crooks. That's just completely asinine. Here, let me give you an example, okay? That guy was a veterinarian. Okay? If he was a crooked veterinarian, overcharged, people would take their animals somewhere else.
Yeah, his business would be out of business.
If he stole from his customers, they take their business somewhere else. Instead, he grew a large business by not being a crook, by being an honest guy, sold the business later, and became very wealthy as a result of doing that. So crooks actually do not prosper. Well, you can prosper as a crook, but it's not sustainable. It's not a long-term strategy. And so what we find is most wealth building is long-term. Now, you can become wealthy for a hot minute being a crook, but we don't find the typical millionaire to be a crook. As a matter of fact, we find the percentage of crooks among them to be lower than the general population percentage of crooks. And so, because one of the issues is integrity it seems to be correlated with building wealth.
Do you also feel that people have sort of a negative framework or an improper framework about millionaires because, A, they're thinking of celebrity status. They're thinking of people who have 200 million and they're not thinking of the everyday person that might have 2 or 3 million or 8 or 10 million, right?
Yeah, well, they've gotten confused between the difference in a billionaire and a millionaire. A billionaire has a jet.
Right.
A millionaire does not. A billionaire has 7 cars. A millionaire is driving a, what do you call it? An Aggie maroon pickup truck.
Yeah.
Okay? Right. And, a billionaire has 5 houses. A millionaire has 1 medium-sized home.
Yeah. You may not know the person that's sitting next to you has.
You generally won't know it.
That's right.
Okay? And the methodology to build $1 billion net worth is different than the methodology to build a $10 million net worth. Substantially different.
That's right.
Okay? And neither one involves being a crook. But I think people get confused, and I think they get a negative view on wealth because some of the uber rich are just weird humans. They're just
I won't name any names.
Well, they're just wacko. They're wacko.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not who you want to be.
That's right. Yes.
But that veterinarian, I want to be him.
Yeah.
If you're a young person, you could want to be that guy. He's a man of character, a woman of character. She taught phys ed at the high school while he was going through vet school.
Right.
Shut up. He made $24,000 a year when he started. Shut up. You do want to be that couple. They're people of character, of substance. But you don't, these wackos that are on TV and stuff. And here's the thing. Here's the interesting thing. I'm not going to be a wealthy because I'm not going to be a celebrity. Well, only 1.6% of millionaires in the United States are celebrities.
Wow.
Sports figures, music people, actors, and so on. And a lot of them are just weird.
Yeah, 100%.
Not all of them. Not all of them. Some of them are normal people that just play a get fiddle, but a lot of them are just weird. I mean, I know some of them that are weird. I mean, they're weird. And so, that's not normal either.
Yeah.
But what is normal is the guy we just talked to. And that should give you people great hope. If you're sitting there going, where's all the hope is gone in America? No, it's not. It's not gone. Don't let people steal your hope with bad information. That's what this is about. Matt is with us in Kansas City. Matt, what's your net worth?
My net worth is approximately $1.5 million.
Woo.
Good for you. Give me a little breakdown by category.
All right. We have $60,000 that we keep in cash just in the bank just for emergency fund.
Got it.
We've got about $100,000 in 529s for our children.
Good for you.
We've got about $500,000 in American funds.
Mm-hmm.
I've got we've paid our home off. It's worth about $400,000.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a bunch of other things that kind of break up. We've got a 401k that's my wife's. That's $155,000.
Mm-hmm.
She's vested in a pension. I'm vested in a pension.
Mm-hmm.
She has a retirement plan that's worth about $203,000
Cool.
if she were to cash it out. I've got a deferred comp through my work that's got about $70,000 or $80,000 in it.
Gotcha. Matt, how old are you?
I'm 45 years old.
Cool.
Wow.
And how much of this $1.5 million did you inherit?
We inherited zero.
Zero. And what was your worst year of working income and your all's best year of working income?
Well, I would say when my wife and I first got married was probably the worst, and it was probably around $60,000 combined.
Okay. What should have been your best year?
Probably this last year was right around $200,000.
Cool. What do y'all do for a living?
I'm a state trooper, and my wife is a business analyst for a large global company that does pet food.
Got it. Okay, cool. And what do you got? Have you got a 4-year degree?
I do. Yes, I have a 4-year degree from, at the time, was just from a state college.
Mm-hmm.
And I taught high school for 3 years before I changed careers.
What was your degree in?
I have a teaching degree in secondary education.
Gotcha. Okay. What was your GPA?
My GPA was about a 3.75.
Good for you. Well done. Okay, cool. Very good. What do y'all drive?
My wife drives a 2020 Jeep Wrangler, a 4-door Jeep. I drive a 2001 Jeep Wrangler, and I newly acquired a Harley-Davidson motorcycle to replace one that I'd gotten rid of. And we also own a brand new 2024 Toyota Sienna minivan for the kids. And I've also got a 2018 Ford F-150 that my 16-year-old's going to be driving.
When did you...
Your 16-year-old has a better car than you have?
He does. I just want him to be in the safest thing he could be in.
Yeah, you see some stuff out there on the road, I'm afraid. But
yeah, I've seen a few things, yeah.
When did you get serious about building wealth? Because you're 45 years old. Somebody is listening. They're maybe 40 or 43, and they're going, gosh, how did this guy do it? When did you get serious?
We were very fortunate. My Uncle Doug gave my wife and I a copy of the Total Money Makeover. This was probably, I want to say, about 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. And my wife is on the financial side of things, and she just ate it up. It was really quick for her. Everything worked for her. We did envelopes. We did peanut butter and jelly. Uh-huh. We did all of those things that were talked about in the book. And
so a 15-year horizon from the time you learned the plan till the day that you're calling in today, basically.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And when we started, we had car payments on 2 cars and a house payment. So, and maybe a little bit of credit card debt, maybe just a few $1,000s worth of credit card debt.
So you're baby steps millionaires. I mean, this is pure. You did Ramsey all the way through.
Absolutely. Yes.
Wow. Very cool. I'm proud of you guys.
And, yeah, we're currently using one of your investors in the Kansas City area, and he's been really good to us. No complaints from us at all.
Wow. Proud of you, man. Very, very well done. Congratulations, sir. And thank you for being out there protecting the people of Kansas on the highways and byways, brother. Very cool. $1.5 million net worth in 15 years from being broke.
Wow.
That's a good question you asked there.
Well, I wanted to paint the picture because people think that this takes 40 years and 50 years to do.
Our average in our Millionaire study that we did is 17 years. Mm-hmm. His took 15. Yeah. And he's he's above $1 million. Yeah. Good. This is The Ramsey Show. Mortgage rates have dropped, so if you're thinking about buying a home in the next year, contact your local Churchill mortgage team right now. If you wait, more people will be in the market competing for the same homes and potentially driving up prices. Churchill will help you do the math to be sure your budget is correct, making your home a blessing and helping you build lasting wealth. Learn more at churchillmortgage.com. churchillmortgage.com. It's a Baby Steps Millionaires theme hour. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. We're talking to real millionaires. What you own minus what you owe is your net worth. Assets minus liabilities. When that reaches $1 million or greater, by definition, you are a millionaire. Well, Dave, $1 million is just not enough anymore. Well, we're not discussing that today. Dave, no one should have that kind of money. This is not a moral construct for you socialists to discuss. It's a math thing. It's a facts thing. So if you have $1 million, it's that simple. We want to talk to you. I don't care where you got it. If you stole it, that's fine. Call us and tell us. Okay? If you won the lottery, call us and tell us. If you, whatever.
I'd love that story to come through if somebody stole it.
Yeah. We'll put you right here on the radio and see if we can't get you convicted of your crime. But yeah, I mean, really, I've talked to lotto winners.
Yeah.
I talked to people that did the GameStop thing and that got $1 million out of it. You know,
I mean, when you do it that way,
get Bitcoin guys. I've talked to them, they got $1 million. I've talked to people that did it ways I don't recommend and that the data tells us are not normative.
Yeah.
They don't normally work, but I'll talk to you. I don't care. I want everyone in America to hear where wealth really comes from. So you call 888-825-5225. Diane is in Sacramento. Diane, what's your net worth?
$1.2 million.
Good for you. And give me a little breakdown by category, please.
Well, pretty simple. About $300,000 in home equity and $900,000 in IRAs and an active 401k.
Good for you. How old are you?
69.
69. Very good. How much of this 1.2 did you inherit?
Not a penny.
Zero. What's your best year of working income and your worst year of working income?
Working income, probably about 95. And my worst year was when I was just 18 and started working, about 4,000.
Gotcha. Okay.
A long time ago.
I hear you. What was your career?
My career has always been in the insurance industry.
Good for you. Okay, good. And do you have a 4-year degree?
No, I do not.
No. Okay, good. Very cool. All right. Do you think people could still do this today?
Absolutely.
Why?
I think I think they need someone to give them guidance and encouragement. And I don't know. But one of the things I'm proudest of are my girls because they're both doing it. And they started hearing this from me at a very young age. And when they were in positions, jobs with 401ks, they both started contributing.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see one of my girls just showed me her 401k balance the other day, and she's just in her mid-30s, and I was so proud of her.
Yeah, very good.
So, yeah,
she's gonna beat mom.
They are. They both will.
Yeah.
They absolutely will. I did not start investing until I was 40 at the strong encouragement of a coworker. And this was in about the mid-90s before we knew an awful lot about 401ks and certainly before the Roth IRAs. That I started at investing a very tiny amount because my friend Bruce would not let up on me until I did.
And you never made over 100K?
Never in my life.
Wow, I'm proud of you. What do you drive?
I have a 2015 little Subaru that's my commuter car and a 2018 Ram half-ton pickup because I'm a mountain girl. I do not live in the city of Sacramento, but I'm in the foothills.
Good for you. We head to the mountains on the weekends. I like it.
Oh, no, I live in the mountains.
Oh, okay. All right.
You sound intentional. You've been intentional about putting money aside, intentional about teaching your kids the same, way of life. How much has a budget played into this? Because we know that that's a big part of this, right? Being intentional with your money.
Absolutely. I started when I first learned the Excel product back in the mid-90s. That was when I created a budget for myself, and that developed into a document that I now project out a year ahead of my monthly expenses and my allocations and when things are coming up. So, it contemplates savings. It contemplates money going into my 401k, vehicle registrations, all the little details of life. And I make sure that I pay myself first. I started maxing out my 401k in my very early 50s with some home equity rather than putting all of the equity into my next home purchase. I reserved $100,000.
So in the last 20 years, what do you do for fun?
Enjoying my home. Mm-hmm. I've always enjoyed living in the mountains. It's always felt like a vacation destination for me.
It is.
So for me, my fun is coming to my home. It's working in my yard, and that's my fun. I do like to camp, but I don't do much of it anymore. But my fun is pretty simple. I don't require elaborate vacations. I like coming home and sitting on my house and looking at my living room window to all of the beautiful trees that surround me. It's lovely.
Life is good. Good for you. I'm proud of you. Very, very well done, Diane. Excellent. I love it. I love it. I love it. Megan in Raleigh, North Carolina. What is your net worth?
Hi, Dave. It is $1.9 million.
Yeah.
Very good. Give me a little breakdown by category, please.
In Roth IRAs, $351,000, 401ks, $276,000. Our non-retirement investment and savings, $260,000, and then our real estate portfolio, $1.062 million.
Good for you. Way to go. How old are you?
35.
Wow. Get it.
Wow.
Love it, love it, love it. How much of this did you inherit?
My husband inherited $50,000 when he was a junior in college, when his dad passed.
Okay. Did that money cause you to become a millionaire?
Absolutely not.
Okay. All right. And what's your all's best year working income and worst year working income?
Our worst year, we made about $77,000, and our best year, $220,000.
Good for you.
Wow, good job.
What do y'all do? What's your careers?
My husband is a major in the Army, and I work in healthcare IT.
Got it. Okay. You got a 4-year degree?
We actually, between the two of us, have 4 graduate degrees.
Wow.
You collect them. Okay.
We do. Although 3 were employer-sponsored and 1 was fully cash flowed.
Wow. I was going to ask about that. Wow.
Okay. So what's the fanciest of the 4 degrees? We have a PhD in the bunch?
No, they're all master's degrees.
Okay, all right.
But my fanciest one, I would say it sounds cool, is cybersecurity management and policy.
Ah, yeah, that's big. Good for you. You're right in the hot seat right now. And your GPA when you were doing that particular degree?
4.0.
Nice.
I got a feeling, yeah. Yeah, all right. Good for you. Well done, well done. Can people do this today?
Yes.
Well,
Absolutely.
crap, you're only 35.
Well,
of course they can do it today. All right.
Well, I want to know, how long have you made $220,000?
1 year.
I just want to clarify. I always hear the voice of the naysayers in my mind, and so I like to debunk it. And when did you get started on this journey? Because 35 is really young, and I mean, you're $2 million really is where you're at. So when did you start this?
Well, I first got plugged into the Ramsey show back in 2019. We had bought a house. We didn't have any other debt, so we were fortunate in that even before I met my husband, we were both very financially savvy and knew not to spend more than you made. Mm-hmm. But I got pregnant with my daughter, and instead of getting in that nesting phase of setting up the baby's room and everything, I got into the financial security mode.
Love that.
And there was just a particular lifestyle I envisioned for our family, and I wanted to be able to have the financial means to do it.
So avoiding debt and 6 years of being intentional about what comes after paying off and avoiding debt.
Yeah. Way to go, kiddo. Proud of you. Well done. Wow. $2 million net worth at 35 years old.
Winning.
Ding, 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 ding. She wins.
Yeah.
This is the Ramsey Show. Hey, you guys, I'm not a fan of the big banks, and you probably already know which ones I mean. But I do like credit unions because they're nonprofit organizations that focus on their members. And I'm proud to endorse Fairwinds Credit Union because they share the Ramsey mission of helping people get out of debt and live generously. In fact, they design products to help keep you from going into debt in the first place. Fairwinds has been in business for over 75 years, and they serve hundreds of thousands of members worldwide. You can feel secure because your deposits are federally insured by the NCUA up to $250,000. It's easy to join, and Fairwinds partners with more than 5,000 credit union locations around the country, so you can bank in person wherever you live. But if you prefer the online experience, you can log on to Fairwinds and do anything you could do at a physical location. So go to fairwinds.org/Ramsey to learn more. And while you're there, look at the combined checking and savings account bundle they created just for Ramsey fans to help you take control of your finances. That's Fairwinds, FAIRWINDS.org/Ramsey. Jade Warshaw, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. This is a Baby Steps Millionaires theme hour. Folks, we just launched a brand new tour. Dave Ramsey, that's me, and Dr. John Deloney are hitting the road and coming to a city near you on the Money and Relationships Tour. And we're putting a new twist on these live events. You are going to shape the conversation each night. In the pre-show, we're going to give you a list of topics, and you're going to pick the ones you want me and John to talk about that night. And we're going to walk out and do it. Louisville, Kentucky, April 21. Durham, that would be April 23. Atlanta, April 25. Phoenix, May 5. Fort Worth, May 7. And Kansas City, May 9. These tickets are selling briskly. If you want to come, you should get one before they're gone. Go to Dave Ramsey and Dr. John Deloney. Or join Dave Ramsey, that's me, and Dr. John Deloney live in person that night. You're going to laugh, you're going to cry, you're going to learn. Your ribs will be sore where your spouse is elbowing you. All of that will happen. RamseySolutions.com/tour, the Money and Relationships Tour. You can always look at the live events we're doing all over the place on our homepage and check in. There's all of us doing stuff all over the place all the time. Now, Diane, 2 callers ago, 69, never made over 100,000. That is one of the myths, one of the lies that are out there, that you have to make $500,000 a year, $600,000 a year to be a millionaire. You don't. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, we did the largest study of millionaires ever done in North America. We studied 10,167 of them. The conclusions of that research and the methodology of that research are the white paper in the back of my best-selling book, Baby Steps Millionaires. And Baby Steps Millionaires goes through the discussion of where millionaires come from in detail. So if you want to learn about the millionaire subject, the study is in there, and also the best-selling book is in front of the study. One of the things we found in the study was 33% of millionaires never made over 100 grand. 1/3.
Wow.
That one surprised me.
Yeah.
I was, if you told me not over 200 grand, okay.
Sure.
I could have go with that one, but 33% never made over 100 grand. They fall in the category that Diane fell in. Pretty cool. Richard's in Kansas City. Hey, Richard, your net worth.
3.1 million.
Good for you. Give me a little breakdown by category.
Basically, joint account 117, emergency fund 110, 401k, which is now a rollover because I am recently retired, 1.167 million, and then we have my wife and I have Roths at 750,000, a donor account at 56. Our home's about 425, farmland's 450, and miscellaneous items about 40,000.
Cool. How old are you?
I'm 57 years old.
Good for you. Well done. How much of this did you inherit?
Well, I did inherit a little bit, and that's part of my story a little bit. I got $200,000 when I was 35 and $200,000 when I was 45.
Wow.
Cool. So, good. Very good. So that did really legitimately boost this.
Mm-hmm.
It did. But the way I look at this is the 401k. My goal is always to get $1 million over that, and did that. But it helps. But the big thing I find is one thing that I don't always hear you talk about, but you do, is people inherit things, and sometimes it's a woohoo moment. Now we're going to go out and spend money. We're going to go buy that big car or that big boat. But my wife and I kept away from that, and so I like to feel that I did it without those things.
Yeah, well, what you did was you got the best use of that, but you've got 1.1 in your 401k, so you would have been a millionaire anyway.
Yes, absolutely.
But this did legitimately. I mean, the $450,000 farm probably had something to do with that. Some of these other cash positions probably had something to do with that. But your 401k has to be payroll deduct. It's not none of that inheritance can go in there legally. So I know that didn't where that came from.
Well, that and, my wife worked outside the house part-time and raised our kids, so we were a one-income household, and then with her, what she brought in, it was one of those things where you basically had to learn how to do without, and we did in those early years, and we have two young, successful kids, and I think they've learned from watching us, and I got to tell you, when they used to hear your music come on, when we'd be driving down the highway, their heads would hit the ground.
I love it. What was your career, Richard?
I was in packaging.
Packaging.
For my career.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Very cool. Good for you, man. Hey, thanks for the call. You're a hero, man. I'm so proud of you. Excellent, excellent work. Okay. Baby Steps Millionaires Theme Hour. All right, Jade, we found one that actually inherited some money.
Yeah.
And here's the statistics on that, because that's one of the last lies that we want to defeat. Okay. When we did the largest study, airtight research, an outside research firm looking over our shoulder so that we weren't doing confirmation bias. We wanted to get the surprises of the study. We wanted to learn where it really, really is. What are the facts? And this study is so airtight that this data is what's known as the truth. So if you disagree with the conclusions of this study, you're what's known as wrong. That's what I'm saying, okay?
That's right.
So 79% of America's millionaires have inherited precisely zero. That's 8 out of 10. So when the wealth equality socialist communist people are whining and crying and say we need to restructure society because all wealth is inherited, they are either ignorant or evil or both. Got it? 5% of millionaires inherited a small amount, like $5,000 from their grandmother, which is not enough mathematically to cause you to become a millionaire, and another 5% inherited money, after substantial money, like a couple hundred grand, after they were already millionaires. So it did not cause them to become millionaires. So what let me help you with this. 79 plus 5% plus 5% is 89. 90%, 9 out of 10 of America's millionaires are not millionaires because of inherited money. So don't let some left-wing communist professor tell you that in college. Don't do it.
I mean, I'm just sitting over here thinking, even if it was inherited, even if somebody did inherit money, who cares?
It's not bad, but don't tell people that's the only way, because if you don't have a rich uncle, that tells you don't have a chance.
That's true. I mean, but
people like me, people like you, we don't have a chance.
I never even knew the idea of inheriting money until
I never thought of it. Never occurred to me that was going to happen. Now, it's not to say if you inherited money, you did something wrong. I mean, our last caller got $400,000. It was part of his equation, and it didn't cause him to be a bad guy. He wasn't a bad guy. There's nothing wrong with inheriting money, but there is something wrong with telling people that's where wealth comes from as the primary methodology, and it's not. It is a methodology. It's like telling people get wealthy playing the lottery. Right. No, they don't.
Well, then there's a part of it that if you paint that as a negativity in your brain, then it's never something for you to aspire to say, I'd like to leave an inheritance, right? Because now you've told yourself this is an evil, horrible thing, and so therefore you'll never do it either.
Yeah, I'm 100% sure it's the opposite, that it is a godly thing.
100%.
Because the Bible says a godly man leaves an inheritance to his children's children.
Yeah.
So those 8 Ramsey grandbabies it's gonna turn out well for them.
Thank goodness.
Yeah,
that's great.
Assuming they have the character to manage it. Now, if you're doing heroin, you don't get any money in the Ramsey estate plan. That's not how it works. But you got to be an upstanding citizen and all that. But the deal is, because we're not raising trust fund babies snorting cocaine on the back of a yacht doing a reality show. I don't have any need to produce those. Other people can produce those. I don't want to do that. But that's not the norm.
No.
The norm is good people work their butts off, and they don't ruin their children. That Richard guy, his dad left him $400,000 in 2 blocks, and it didn't ruin him. As a matter of fact, it didn't even hardly change anything. He was already had learned to live on nothing. 2 broke kids, being successful. He was talking about that, and he did a great job, and the money just accentuated his life. Is all
That's
it did.
right. Made him more of who he already was.
Yeah. So don't let people tell you that wealth is evil, or that wealthy people are evil, or that it's the wrong thing to aspire to be successful. This war on success in our culture has got to stop. We need to teach people to go win and how to go win. That's what this show's about. The book is Baby Steps Millionaires. Check it out. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books.
Hey, what are you still doing here? You know the rest of the show's happening on the Ramsey Network app, right? So you got to jump over there to continue watching. You can download it for free. Just go to your app store, type in Ramsey Network. It's completely free, and I'll drop a link in the show notes to make it easy for you. So if you're watching on the app, you're in luck. But if you're watching anywhere else, this show is over for you. So jump onto the app and let the fun continue. All right. Go on now. Don't make it weird. Okay, I got nowhere to go, so you need to go. Okay, bye-bye now. All right, it's getting weird over there, guys. What do we do?